The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL NewsRadio.
Investigators in Texas are still looking into a shooting that occurred at an ICE facility there that left one detainee dead, 2 more hurt. Police believe the shooter then took his own life after firing indiscriminately at the office. ABC's Maria Villarreal. Here's ABC's Maria Villarreal in Dallas.
ICE detention facilities nationwide on high alert after a sniper rained bullets from a rooftop on a van filled with detainees, killing 1 detainee and wounding 2 more in what authorities are calling an act of targeted violence against the agency.
From rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
Authorities say the suspect, identified as 29-year-old Joshua John, was firing indiscriminately.
Here's a little bit more about what we now know about the shooter.
His name is Joshua John. We know that he was 29 years old. We also know that he lives in the area, not Dallas proper, but in a contingent county called Collin County. But there's also very limited information that we're getting from him as, law enforcement continues to investigate who he was, where he posted, what he talked about with friends. Some preliminary information that sources are telling ABC News is that, he was a gamer that was not necessarily politically driven. A lot of this is still very fluid right now.
That's sounding familiar.
Yeah, it is. And you know what's really, among everything else that's troubling about this, it's incredibly troubling. He's upset at ICE. He has some anti-ICE writings on his bullet shells, but the people he killed are detainees.
Right.
He doesn't shoot any ICE agents.
Right.
He's just up on some rooftop firing away. It's just craziness. And then he kills himself, and is trying to make a point against ICE, but kills a detainee and injures 2 others.
Critically injured. And I know that I've seen online that at least one of the ones that is in the hospital has been identified as somebody from Mexico, a Mexican national. So, it's one of the things where I think as we've talked about the Charlie Kirk shooting here in Utah, one of the things that we've said is that was, of course, a horrible tragedy, and it could have been a lot worse. Yeah. It was not the shooter, or alleged shooter, at least in that case, was not randomly firing, multiple rounds. He fired 1 time. And in this case, it sounds like he was just firing and dropped several people, and then as people closed in on him, he killed himself. But what's interesting to me also is he was on a rooftop again.
Yeah. And, of course, everyone wonders what the motive is. ABC's Maria Villarreal in Dallas also said that the FBI has posted one potential clue, which we talked about just a minute ago, a picture of shell casings found at the scene.
One of those shell casings, an unspent one, there was writing found on it that said anti-ICE. That has led, at least federal investigators to believe and to put out there that this was a targeted, violent act that was aimed at law enforcement.
Who dealt with writings on shell casings before a year or 2 ago, and now they're on every case? It's like some weird phenomena that we have.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I'm sure there have been others in the past. I just haven't been aware of it.
I know they did in World War II. Like
right.
Some of the missile heads and stuff they would write stuff on. But
sure.
Yeah, it seems like a new thing.
Yeah. It's just odd. And then, I don't know, it's every day we're talking about something like this, Holly. It's just troubling.
Yeah. It's troubling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a couple of people who were at least neighbors or from the communities. So Sherry Gates lived in the same cul-de-sac community as Joshua John, who's suspected to be the shooter, right? He's been identified as the shooter. And she found her town's connection, of course, very disturbing.
I consider myself informed, and I vote and participate in the community and stuff, but I had no idea that something like this could happen this close to where I live.
Yeah, and ABC's Maria Villarreal in Dallas also spoke to a woman who was outside the office waiting for a hearing on her own immigration case.
She expected her case to be heard right around 7, and 6:40 she was sitting inside when she started to hear these tinging sounds. And she said she heard about 20 of them and almost immediately knew that they were gunshots. People inside were yelling at them to get down on the ground to stay safe, and then the building went on lockdown.
Wow, that's again those experiences, and another rooftop shooting. I'm gonna say we're gonna start to see a lot more surveillance drones in the sky, right?
Yeah, and a lot more just making. I don't know if it's possible to make access to rooftops more difficult. But
Yeah.
I guess you can't do too much about
I don't
that
know.
because you've got fire escapes and other things like that. But anytime you have a facility like this, you've got to start thinking about who's going to be on the rooftops. And you're right. Maybe you just drone over the city every once in a while and look for people running around.
I don't know, but it also struck me it's another one that they're saying they think he's part of the gamer community, right? And we've talked about that in conjunction with Tyler Robinson and the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and gosh, just stop it, people.
I know, and the gamer community. I mean, I don't know, what does that teach you? And that last soundbite we just heard, a woman inside was there for her hearing, and she hears like 20 shots. Now, I'm just guessing, but that's not your .30-06 deer rifle. That sounds like another situation where there was an assault weapon used. Not that that's here or there, because the Utah case did not involve assault weapon, but they certainly, you can shoot off a lot more rounds a lot more quickly than you can the old deer rifles that people use in some of these situations. And we know that at least one person is dead. The shooter is additionally dead, apparently.
Right.
Several others, like you said, are critically injured. And all of the victims appear so far to be detainees and not the intended, at least believed to be the intended target, which was ICE agents themselves.
Yeah, again, it's interesting, and it's interesting to me to see Senator Ted Cruz calling for a de-escalation in political violence and political rhetoric, but he's only aimed it at one side, and I am one to say it needs to de-escalate on both sides.
Yeah,
all sides.
He came out of the shoot yesterday and said that, and of course he's there in Texas. He's there, likely to be one of their top spokespersons. But I think that Governor Cox said it best, that we don't want to look at this as Republican or Democrat. Let's talk about the fact that these these are bad people doing bad things, no matter what their association with whatever party happens to be.
Yeah,
and the gaming community, like that's
the vast majority of gamers are never going to go kill anybody.
Right. But even that group, who are radicalized or whatever you want to use from the gaming, are not left or right leaning necessarily. It just seems like they're just angry people. There's just so much anger right now in the country, and it's just troubling that, I don't know, we don't want to deal with this every single day.
Yeah, it's interesting that they found words inscribed on a bullet, anti-ICE, but they say they can't figure out a motive yet. That's interesting to me.
Seriously.
Okay.